What's going on, you guys? Today for something entirely different. As you can see, I'm coming to you from the roof of my apartment building. I just got home from work and it's a beautiful day outside, but I really need to get this Gunpla news video recorded for you guys. So I thought, how can I enjoy this beautiful weather and also make this video for you guys? I thought, well, I might as well record it outside. And luckily the wind is not too strong now. I actually tried recording a video up here once before, but the wind was too strong at that time and I knew the sound was not going to work. I am using a microphone on there, a shotgun mic, so hopefully, I checked it, I hope it's picking up my voice pretty well and you guys aren't getting too much noise. Of course, it is a very busy street down below, so there's a lot of traffic and kids playing and stuff like that, so I'm sure you're hearing some of that, but hopefully not too much. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Anyway, this is the first Gunpla news video in the ZakuAurelius 2.0 format now that we've made some small changes for some stuff. So that means that this video is actually going to be broken up into separate parts. So if you only are interested in watching maybe the new releases, that's going to be the second part. First part is going to be the news, second part new releases, new announcements. Third part is going to be some updates on some stuff that we've already known is coming out. And then the fourth part is going to be just a bit about some third-party and other kind of side releases. And then the last part is going to be about some featured artists, and the featured artist section is also going to be a little bit different this time, just because I want to focus a little bit on something a little bit different, and I'll save that for that part at the end. So the format, I mean, the order is totally the same and the information is going to be mostly the same, but it is broken up into parts. If you only want to watch certain parts, you can watch those, or if you want to watch the whole thing, I'm going to have all of these videos for this episode in a playlist, so you can just play that playlist and watch all of them from start to finish. Hopefully it won't be too long. The last one was pretty long. I'm going to try to keep this one a little bit shorter. There is a little bit to talk about, but not quite as much as last time, so it should be okay. Anyway, let's get started with the first part. This would be news. Once again, there are going to be 4 more videos as part of this episode of Gunpla News after this, so if you want to watch the whole thing, be sure to check out those as well. So let's get it started with the news first. The first thing was kind of some big shocking news for a lot of people, is that the Dengeki Hobby magazine is coming to an end. That is to say that the printed version of the magazine is coming to an end. They are still going to keep and maintain the online website where the Kodokawa, the company that produces Dengeki Hobby magazine, has promised they're going to keep providing some quality material for us online. But in terms of printing magazines, the July 2015 issue is going to be the last one. So those usually come out like 1 or 2 months before, so that means that issue should be coming out, I think, in about a month, maybe around the middle or end of May, I guess, the end of May, I think. So that's kind of too bad. I mean, those magazines are really nice. For people in Japan especially, if you live outside of Japan, they're definitely a little bit harder to get and definitely really expensive. The magazines themselves don't really cost all that much, but they're quite heavy. They're printed on really nice paper, so they're quite heavy, so they cost a lot to ship. Like, for example, if you wanted to buy the magazine, it costs maybe something like $8 or $9, then you're probably going to be paying like $10 for the shipping. So for some people, especially outside the United States, it's really hard to want to spend that money unless they're packaging in some kind of special limited item, which they tend to do sometimes. Like recently it was the parts set for the HG Wing Hono. Now, they've said that they are still going to be doing some exclusive items, but those are going to be available online, so it's not sure exactly how that's going to work quite yet. They haven't said, but hopefully there's not going to be any too major changes like that, and hopefully it's not going to be too difficult for those of us living outside of Japan to get that stuff. I imagine it's probably going to become something basically similar to Bandai, where we're going to have to go through some kind of third-party sites, and the price is going to be definitely pretty high. And when you imagine like what you're getting in those option parts, usually it's the one runner, pretty basic, and if you're going to be paying upwards of $20 for that, like more than you would for an actual kit, it's going to be really questionable for people outside of Japan. So not really sure how that's going to work yet. It's definitely kind of sad news. Personally, I don't really have all that many of the magazine. I bought them more often when I lived in Japan, but these days I don't really ever buy them, so it's not really too much of an issue for me, but it just kind of is too bad, but it's just kind of the way of things these days, I guess, right? Second point of news is that Bandai's Golden Week campaign has started. Now that started on April 24th, so it's about a week underway at this point. And what that is basically with any HG or RG kit that you buy from the designated retailers, you're going to be getting a sheet of stickers. Now there's 4 different sheets and they look really nice. The problem is that they're just the sticker markings, so like basically what you get with some high grades and master grades now. When we first saw that, I was really excited. I thought, wow, great, it's going to be a great opportunity to get some really nice waterslide decals. But then when I looked a little bit closer at the Japanese and realized that they're actually just stickers, that's a really kind of a letdown. I really don't know why they didn't just go with water slides for that. I mean, I know stickers are easy to use and very comfortable for a lot of like beginners into the hobby, but I think waterslide decals would just be more useful to more people, because a lot of people, maybe intermediate and higher level modelers, have no use for those stickers, or they're not really very all that useful. Anyway, if that's something that you're interested in getting, just make sure that you check with the retailer you're buying from before you order, because not all sites or shops are going to have those for offer. So if that's something that you really want, and make sure you check with your shop or your online shop before you order that stuff, just to be sure. The next thing was actually pretty exciting, that Gundam Ace magazine is going to be releasing a couple of option weapons for the new upcoming HGUC Revive RX-78-2 Gundam. Now they're going to be releasing a Gundam Hammer as well as a Beam Javelin. Now these look really cool. One thing I'm a little bit concerned about is that the pictures that they're showing us, it looks like the Beam Javelin is not going to have clear parts for the beam effects, and it looks like the Gundam Hammer is not going to have an actual chain but just a solid piece of plastic. Now it could just be that these are just not actually the finished products, but when you think about what usually comes with a magazine pack-in, like I just mentioned a little bit before, it's usually just one runner. So I imagine probably that those runners are just going to be gray, like they're shown in the picture here. And if you want to paint those beam effects, you're going to have to paint those pink. And for the chain, you might just kind of be out of luck. You can buy option chains if you check around. I'm not sure if Hobby Link Japan sells them, but probably, I imagine so, or any other kind of shop that's selling a lot of kind of detail parts and metal parts and stuff, like add-on parts for stuff. You can usually find some sort of chain. You could do a little bit of work to attach that. Or if you have the Gundam HG Gundam version G30th, that actually came with the Gundam Hammer with an actual chain, so that was really nice. You could use that for your HG Revive Gundam if you wanted. Now those are going to be sold separately. The Beam Javelin is going to be coming in the May issue, and then the Gundam Hammer is going to be coming out in the summer, they said, so maybe I guess they're not sure if they're going to have that in June or July or maybe even August. I doubt they're going to keep it off until August. Probably June, maybe July. Anyway, those are going to be for 680 yen each, so that's just the price of the magazine and the add-on parts. That's pretty cheap. I think usually the price of the magazine is somewhere around just like 580 yen, so maybe it's just like 100 yen more for the option parts. So I'm guessing it's going to be pretty simple, but the price is not bad. So, but once again, it's the same issue with the Dengeki Hobby magazines. Those magazines are really expensive to ship because they're really thick, really heavy. So if that's something you really want, I think there's probably going to be better options available for you, but if that's something that you really think you want to have, it is going to be possible. And the last point of news is actually something that I talked about in the last episode of Gunpla News, and that is concerning the Gundam Build Fighters Try Volume 2 Blu-ray is coming out in June. There are going to be a few different versions of it. The standard DVD is going to be for 3,000 yen, not too bad. Then the limited edition Blu-ray is going to be 27,000 yen, like $250. And then for 32,000 yen, so basically $300, you're getting the special edition of the Blu-ray and the special edition of the HG Red Warrior. It's going to be in the Plavsky Particle Clear version, so it's like this sparkly clear red. The kit looks pretty cool, but I mean, there's no way I'm gonna pay $300 to get that kit and a Blu-ray. And I'm not even sure, but I'm pretty sure that Blu-ray is probably not going to have English subtitles on it either. I don't know. Usually a lot of DVDs sold, DVDs and Blu-rays sold in Japan, I think they're usually not putting English subtitles on them because they're being sold in Japan for the Japanese audience. They don't really need to put English subtitles on them. So that point of news, I'm sorry, is probably not going to be very useful for a lot of you, but if that model kit is something that you really wanted to have, or that Blu-ray is something you really wanted to have, just making that information available for you guys. So that's it for the news, and this will be the end of part 1 of this month's episode of Gunpla News. Come back for part 2, we're going to be talking about the new announcements. There was quite a lot of new announcements this time once again, and some really cool ones, so I'm really excited about that. So I'll see you guys in part 2.